And we're at the Influencer Conference 2010. We're here with the beautiful Juliette Powell, who just moderated a fantastic panel that got everyone riled up and tweeting and talking.
I think she gets paid to say that, but thank you.
No, it's the truth. I told the truth. Can you just introduce yourself? I mean, so many people know who you are, but can you just introduce yourself and tell us who you are, what you do, why you're here?
That's a really good question. I never know why I get invited to participate in conferences. I think that probably because my book was launched by Financial Times Press, it got really nice marketing push from the publisher themselves, and that certainly helped a lot. Yeah, 33 million people in the room, but also the fact that I come from broadcast. So I started in television when I was a teenager, in front of the camera, behind the camera, creating shows, building digital networks, doing all this stuff, running around with, you know, a little video camera and interviewing my friends and thinking that they were rock stars. And luckily, I had a camera that was actually broadcasting live on television, and so other people started to think that they were rock stars too. That helps a lot. It kind of helps plant this idea that we're all special, we've all got something to say, and I was brought up with that idea. So while I was in front of the camera and behind the camera for broadcast, I was also doing stuff for broadband. And so this whole idea of building things as a community is really natural to me. And I love it because, again, it can't be about me, and it can't just be about different brands and different individuals that are branded. Rather, it's about this idea of co-creating the future.
So what was your panel about? Because your panel is the one that kicked off the entire conference.
I know, I got really lucky on that.
You got a starring role.
Well, I was surrounded by some amazing people, and not just the people on the panel, but also the people in the audience that were there. I tried to encourage people right off the bat to participate, to jump in, because I don't believe in the separation between the audience and the so-called experts. What I was asked to talk about is this, you know, contradiction, or is it really, between innovators and influencers. And many marketing and advertising people kind of throw those terms out there. Many people confuse them, think it's the same thing. So the idea was to kind of debunk what is an innovator, what is an influencer, how do they work together. And it was fantastic because just looking at the panel as well as the audience, it seemed that everybody realized that they were both. And we all are. In somebody's life, you're an innovator and you're an influencer. Even whether it's your kids, your parents, your school, your church, you know, if you're on Twitter, potentially more people. And that's the idea, is to tap into that opportunity for all. But again, you need to have those digital skills, especially nowadays. The more interconnected we are, the more people have access. But if you don't know how to use that access, you're probably not going to go very far.
Well, then you made quite a few really good points, and one of the points was that it's about the digital access, being real and the digital access. My question to you is, does that then contradict? I mean, you want to be real, then you want to be genuine with who you are and what you put out there, but the digital realm is so competitive, and it's what brands are looking for and what people expect is sometimes so different than kind of what you are and what you're striving for. How do you find that balance between being real and being, you know, somewhat packaged but not packaged? That word is, I know, not good.
Well, certainly, I mean, again, my publisher packaged my book, right? I don't know how to print and distribute a book. I was able to capture ideas and put them into something that was digestible by a larger entity, i.e. my publisher, who then packaged it and distributed it. And more people are doing that on their own. They don't feel the need necessarily to connect with these institutionalized and traditional industries, and are learning to do it themselves. And so how do you stay authentic? It's one of the questions that I asked people that were on my panel. For me, on a very, very personal level, I mean, again, I started in broadcast television. And the idea that anybody had the potential to be interviewed. Anybody can be a star if you've got something to say, if you can add value to your community. And so that hasn't changed. The medium might have changed, but that idea that we've all got something to contribute to each other, that's not going to go away, right? And so I'm a firm believer in that. And to me, you know, even just looking at basic leadership in business. I went to business school, right? And the idea that the best leaders are the people that empower their employees, and nowadays that also empower the people that are buying their products, the communities that support them. The more you do that, the more people will turn to you, because you've got tools, you're sharing knowledge, and we're all kind of doing this together.
Fantastic. fantastic. So looking at this conference, which is, again, it's the first year,
Yep.
and there are going to be many more.
Great turnout.
Great turnout.
Yeah.
Great turnout. What do you see? I mean, we're defining the influencer culture now, kind of talking about it. This time next year, what do you think the conference is going to be focusing on when it comes to influencers? What do you think we'll be talking about?
I think that there's a lot to be said still. There are several panels that are going to be happening throughout the day. I'm particularly excited about the very last one. I think that, you know, some of the most innovative and influential people in the world are participating, and that's not an overstatement.
And which panel is that?
The very, very last panel. So the panel where you've got, you know, Soraya Darabi, who, you know, was voted one of Fast Company's top 100 creatives in the world, not just in New York, not just in digital media, but in the world, right? And you've got a number of people that are of that ilk that are participating together, and the cool thing is that they're not just staying for their panel. They're sticking around like me. You know, we're backstage, we're in front, we're chatting with the audience, we're all part of this together. And so I think that more importantly than one person deciding what the influencer conference is going to be next year is the idea that we can all decide together what's important to us. Now that we all know how to use these connective tools, and we, you know, supposedly know how to influence people, and hopefully we're innovative on an ongoing basis, can we also learn to co-create what we'd like to get out of this technology, what we'd like to get out of aggregating our superpowers? What does that mean? And hopefully it'll spill out beyond the conference into a much larger setting, or else we're just talking to ourselves, talking to our belly buttons. And the point is that we want to include more and more people in the conversation to shape where we're going.
Awesome. Nothing wrong with belly buttons, but we do want to do what you just said. We want to include everyone. And speaking of which, how can people follow you? Where can they find you? You are influential, and you have a strong following as it is. For those who don't know, Twitter, what's your Twitter handle?
It's my name. I figured I'd just keep it really, really simple. At Juliette Powell, JuliettePowell. So Juliette is in Romeo and Juliet, and Powell is in Colin Powell. That usually sums it up. And you know, YouTube and Facebook and everything else, LinkedIn.
Awesome.
I mean, it's
and people can just reach out to you and say, hey, what's going on? And I have a question. And
oh, heck yeah. And I'm going to have lots of questions too.
Okay, all right. So thank you very much, Juliette. You were fantastic. We'll see you hanging around the back and chatting, and we enjoy your company. Thank you.
Thank you.